Alright, let's do Scratchpad from USCG. Let's start the instance. Description doesn't really give any hints. For this challenge, I want to use Burp Suite, just like personal preference. Book account. Alright, so we got this Scratchpad, right? I'm going to be working with the backend file for this video. So let's just read through it. Hopefully you did this. A lot of stuff here. Just JWT tokens. We can't do SQL injection because it's parameterized, so we can ignore that. We can't brute force the JWT because we don't know what the signing key is, so we can ignore that. What else is there? Okay. Now this is where it's starting to get a little bit spicy, is that we see stuff like get, right, and then exit command. So what that means is that there might be a place where we can write our own commands. We're looking for it. See this JWT. This looks like maybe SQL injection, but I really don't want to do that. Find the easiest solution. Okay. Here we go. We just get straight up get and no other args, right? This is a horrible idea because you can just run whatever you want. But let's see. This one you either know it or you don't. I would just suggest brute forcing this with AI. But in Git, there's this thing called, oh my god, where did it go? Called aliases. And using aliases, you can run bash commands. So let me show you guys. But here, let me point at the code exactly what I want to do. So we're pretty much focusing on handle revision, right? Because that's the one with the args. And so how do we turn on handle revision? We just click on load, and boom, we get revision. And then see, we get action, show, and hash, right? So it would pretty much be get show the hash colon and then scratchpad.txt. But as we know, since we can inject anything we want here, we could probably just make it so that everything after the hash is ignored, right? Because we can edit both action and hash, right? These are just parameters for the overall command. So here, let me copy it down. What I did is that I did config global alias pawn, right? And then for my hash, right, I did sh c cd and I need to go to the root folder, right? ls. Well, I did ls in my original solution to figure out where the file is, but you could just probably skip to flag.txt, since you guys know if you open up the zip you can figure out where it is. And the way after this, I also want to do a hashtag. So let me explain each part. So the git config global alias pawn, that is just to create an alias called pawn that I can call later. And then since the important part is that these have to split up be with spaces, right? Because it uses something called exit command. Exit command splits. You give it arguments, and then it does it individually, right? So you can't use pipes and etc. etc. And it splits everything using so you cannot use pipes and ands and redirects. However, we're not using any of them because right here it's just as a text. And so the beauty of it is that we just need to, we can put the basic configuration in the beginning, right? So these are all separate parts of the Git config, but then all this has to be one part, right? And so that's where this append comes from. And so you might be saying, okay, so we got sh, right? We figured out how to cat flag. Now, how do we stop scratchpad.txt from coming along? So what we can just do is put a hashtag in the end, because hopefully, as you know, if you put a hashtag in the CLI, the rest of the command is just commented out. So let's just put this into a repeater. Bada bing, bada boom. We got an OK. Okay, and then let's put this again to repeater. Actually, yeah, it doesn't. Let's just same repeater. It doesn't matter. So now what we can do is we can call get pawn, right? And just straight up regular hashtag. So just comment out the flag.txt. So now we're just calling cat flag, and that's how you get the flag. So it took me a lot of research to solve this one, but honestly, it wasn't too bad as long as you keep it together and you don't give up. Alright, so that was it for Scratchpad. The next video is going to be Deep Friedinator.